We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
I want to welcome everybody to Sunday's gathering here, April 2nd. I think it's Palm Sunday for some of you. And I just want to welcome everybody. And I'm going to read our statement of purpose. We are an assembly of equals, joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self, within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and rest in its embrace. Well, today I picked core value number 5 because it was just the way things happened to me and how I was picked with 10 days to do today. And I asked for it and I got it. So core value number 5, we accept all forms as temporary appearances, permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. I want to read that again. We accept all forms as temporary appearances, permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. Wow. Yeah, I had a blast putting this together in between a lot of things, a lot of worldly events. Billy's life was very much a schedule that was crammed with taxes and everything else. But you know, today's title is How Did the Rose? And that poem by Hafiz is you know, I mean, when I first heard it, and Megan was looking for a topic. You know, we were throwing topics around, and I said, "Wow, that's a great topic." And she didn't take it. And when it was, you know, and I had such short notice to put a homily together, you know, it was already ready for me. So I didn't pick The Rose by Bette Midler, which I grew up with, you know, and it was a great song and a great tribute to Bette Midler and her accomplishment in The Rose. But you know, there again, another statue, another crystallized nouning of something that's ever moving in the river of consciousness. And you know, and so I found this song, and it you know, it came out better than our opening song, and you know, it was these two guys that were together and created great music, and then got separated. And you know, they were together at 10 years old. They knew each other in the candy stores. Okay. judging each other. I mean, I read a story about them. But anyway, I love their music. That makes me cry. I get inspired. I write when I hear it. And so after now, I guess it's time for us to pray. All right. So, Father, I'm here today with many challenges. Many unknowns, to turn it all over to you and your Holy Spirit. We'd like to implore your Holy Spirit that he may be in charge of all our thoughts, our feelings, and our words, that we may get what we need to reach a higher plane. So we can see our blocks to the presence of love. I want to thank you, Father, for giving me the mind and the many versions of myself that it has offered me. I eventually, with time, had a lot of fun wearing them out, one by one. Some of them got messy, where the bodies experienced a lot of pain. Thank you for the time and the need to be an object. Just so I could recognize who I thought I was. It came to a turning point where there was no turning back now. I'm in. The need to register three-dimensionality, which escorted me toward oneness, has made its point. The many lessons, the many falling down, the many challenges, that I will not turn away from the support of grace that is so freely given me. As I tiptoed through vulnerability to find it was not lethal, but a beautiful medicine. Thank you for the strength not to treat this as an experience and turn it into a noun, another statue. So time could allow it to slip away. For it is its fragrance that multiplies when it keeps growing inside me. Recognizing its beingness, always on the move, but never leaving. This experiencing confirms the changeless reality, where I find me and you as me, to continue into the depths of the spirit as wisdom of pure light and love. Thank you. Amen. All right. What's next? Oh, great. I have asked Joseph Schmitz, to be my reader today. And we have two readings, one from NTI Revelations 4, and then we'll read the poem, The Rose. How did the rose? Joe, would you read NTI first?
got it now. So NTI, Revelation chapter 4. Looking too deeply for the meaning of symbolism is an activity of the thinking mind. Analyzing details and searching for meaning is asking the ego to explain images to you. Step back from the images. Take your eyes off of the details, which are separate parts. Look at the whole picture as it is given in the mind. Notice the feelings that the picture evokes. What is the vision in this scripture telling you? As you look with the eyes of wholeness, you will see that this picture speaks of brilliance, joy, joining, holiness, clarity, and light. That is the message of this vision. It is a vision that points to the reality of heaven. The lesson that is given by asking you to see this vision as a whole is an important lesson that you must learn. As you look on the world now, you see separate parts and you analyze them for meaning. Even in your process of letting go, you see separate parts and you analyze them for meaning. Although this process can seem effective and at times may be helpful to your learning, it is slow, as the separate parts seem to have no end. Step back and look at the whole. When you look at the whole, what do you see? It is the whole that must be let go, because it is the whole that makes the illusion of parts. This is How Did the Rose by Hafiz. How did the rose ever open its heart and give to this world all of its beauty? It felt the encouragement of light against its being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Great tone, great vibration. Great job. You know, when I read How Did the Rose, when I first heard the title of How Did the Rose, and that was enough. You know, it was just, how did the rose? I mean, everybody's got that story. You know, even Jesus. Okay, we all got that story. You know, how did the rose? You know, and then we get to that line of the encouragement of light. You know, the encouragement of light, and, you know, but to see the whole picture, like NTI was talking about, to see the wholeness, not to see it from a split mind, to see the thunder, the lightning, the darkness, the sunlight, the dirt, you know, the challenges, the frost, you know, everything that, you know, well, in the Northeast, because I have a rose garden. In the summer, I have a tremendous rose garden, and you just watch them. How did the rose? And how did Billy? How did I get here? You know, how did Billy get here? You know, through all the thunderstorms, all the rain, the fertile soil, the person to presence, you know, to see the whole room. You know, I was in an AA meeting, you know, but before that, because NTI, when I read the first line in the first paragraph of NTI, looking too deeply for the meaning of symbols is an activity of the thinking mind. Analyzing details and searching for the meaning is asking the ego to explain images to you. So this, you know, as this was going on, I'm at an AA meeting, and you know, I saw a newcomer come into the room, you know, and he had the vibrations of, you know, like I did of my pissy pants and my soiled drawers, and everything was, you know, bankrupt spiritually, morally, financially, relationally, completely bankrupt. And I, you know, and I looked at it and I said, wow, what a beautiful scene. I can see heaven here. I can see the brilliance, like it says in NTI. You know, as you look with the eyes of wholeness, you'll see the picture that speaks of brilliance, joy, joining, holiness, clarity, and light. You know, and I looked at it, and I looked at, you know, and you know, saying that, boy, we all got the same map. Our terrain may be different, but we have the same map. You know, and I still looked at him, and I says, wow, this is heaven right in front of me. You know, and whether he got it or didn't get it is for symbolism. You know, it's the encouragement of light is available for the body to find the spirit, to find its being. You know, hopefully he gets to its fourth step, but like we get to our discernment class, so that we can, you know, we eventually get to that place where we keep discerning until we don't have to do it anymore, because the person vanishes, you know. So I'm reading these 3 books at the time. You know, I'm always reading 3 books, and I love the way the universe puts them in the same sequence. They're all saying the same thing, you know. So I'm reading "Be As You Are" by Ramana, edited by somebody else. Well, I do have it. Why don't we be efficient? Edited by David Godman. The teachings of Ramana Maharshi. And, you know, and my path was Nisargadatta. You know, my path was, I loved the cigar smoking, Nisargadatta and his sarcasm, and because I taught with sarcasm until it wasn't needed anymore, but it was needed. You know, as the disciples, as the sponsees that we call them, as you know, as they came into my life, you know, the water level, that was my water level. And sarcasm was a great teacher for some of my sponsees. And then again, it was time to discuss, I changed. And as I changed, the water level changed, and different people asked me for help, and I don't know how that works. It just happens, So, I'm not going to dismiss it like it's nothing. It's just, people come into my life, and and when the student's ready, the teacher appears, and then I'm teaching what I need to learn until I'm not, and the discernment class that we have here is I fought it because I was, I did a fearless moral inventory, and I was comparing, and in the 12 steps, and then I also did, I did when I was at the Academy of the Course in Miracles in Wisconsin, we had a mortaholics group out there, and every time we were in our body, our mortals, when we would have to write about why we chose to be there, and instead of choosing to drink, we were choosing, to be mortal, and we used the 12 steps to do that. And boy, that was back in 2011. But this, and everything that's been given me has been given me to get to the next stage, and so now I'm in the MPP class some 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember, and everything was aligned for me to realign myself with the truth of witnessing, and when the introduction to meditation, this whole awareness thing happened, like this awareness, and I'm going, okay. And then I says, I know how to stop the mind. I know how to stop them. I've been meditating for years now. And then I'm reading in this Be As You Are book. I'll show it to you. And I'm going to read a passage here, a questioner and the answer from Ramana. And it goes, when I'm engaged in inquiry as to the source from which the I springs, I arrive at a stage of stillness of the mind, beyond which I find myself unable to proceed further. I have no thought of any kind, and there is an emptiness and a blankness. Now, this is me. A mild light pervades, and I feel that it is myself bodiless. I have neither cognition nor vision of body and form. The experience lasts nearly half an hour and is pleasing. This is all me. Would I be correct in concluding that all that was necessary to secure eternal happiness, that it is freedom or salvation or whatever one calls it, was to continue the practice till this experience could maintain for hours, days, months together. And I'm going, yeah, that was me. I do that. And then Maharaj comes in and he goes, this does not mean salvation. Such a condition is termed manaloya, or temporary stillness of thought. Manaloya means concentration, temporarily arresting the movement of thoughts. As soon as this concentration ceases, thoughts, old and new, rush in as usual. And even if this temporary lulling of the mind should last 1,000 years, it will never lead to total destruction of thought, which is what is called liberation from birth and death. The practitioner must therefore be ever on the alert and inquire within as to who has this experience and who realizes its pleasantness. Without this inquiry, he will go into a long trance or deep sleep, yoga nidra. Due to the absence of a proper guide at this stage of spiritual practice, many have been deluded and fallen prey to a false sense of liberation. And only a few have managed to reach the goal safely. So, I thought I was meditating. And then I took this awareness thing. I bought in. And, the awareness, the witnessing, experiencing by the I am, and the more I kept doing it, and I took the I am, the I thought, the I believe this and I believe that, and I am this and I am that, and I followed the I thought to its very end, and I kept witnessing it, and then it was witnessed by the I am. But then something else was witnessing that was prior to the I am. While witnessing was occurring. It was occurring, but it wasn't occurring, but it was occurring, And then there was a space, There was a space that happened. And, I wish I quit my mail so that sound wouldn't come through. But then there was a space within the space, and this detached witnessing was going on, that no one was witnessing. It was just simply occurring. All the functions of the world were going on, the vital force that was creating all these. You could feel all that. The senses were still there. Perception of thought was available, but I'm holding on to that I, and then all of us, and then something, like I said, came from the depths of my being, and it was effortless. It happened. It was effortless. And there was a sweetness to it, you know? It was my beingness. It was a sweetness to it. You know, there was, you know, I wasn't seeing a cup as the cup, like in the first lesson of A Course in Miracles. I was, you know, it was, you know, there was no need for me to become an object, you know, and to see myself like, you know, there's a great, in the Ramesh book, Experiencing Immortality. And there's something that caught my attention, the Shiva Shakti story of how Shakti loved Shiva so much that he wanted Shiva to experience that love and created objects, beautiful objects, where Shiva now was able to experience oneself, you know, and this noumenon phenomenon experience where, you know, Shakti created the whole forest. Okay. So Shiva could be happy and experience, you know, himself. I think Shiva is the he and Shakti is the she, and is the nurturer, and however you want to play that game. But and then you read that you know, Nisargadatta says no, I'm gonna have to wing it. That when they see each other as themselves, that is true vision. That is true vision. So when I saw that guy come through the door, that was once me. And I saw the whole room. That was all me. It was all my appearance in this AA room. And it was all me. And how I get a chance to see with the wholeness of one mind. But then it says in NTI, which was a very catchy phrase. I'm going to read it. It caught my attention. Where'd you go, NTI? You know, my printer went down. I mean, I had technical, everything. You know, I don't have to spare you with the drama because I don't go into it anymore either. All right. So then this reading caught my eye again when it said, step back and look at the whole. And when you look at the whole, what do you see? It is the whole that must be let go. Because it is the whole that makes the illusions of parts. So here, this once heaven that I looked at, you know, this forest and the individual trees, and I got to see the beauty and the details of all the trees, and then I get to see the forest, and then I don't noun it, I don't crystallize it. I gotta keep the river flowing. You know, and it doesn't, you know, I had to step back again from oneness. and see the I thought, and hold that space. So the witnessing of the others, that's the witnessing of that something else, while that witnessing is occurring prior to the I am, is now happening. And while that's happening, it doesn't have a form. It doesn't have any substance. It's not, it's just always has been. It's just is. It doesn't come and go. It's always there if I'm willing to see. And, you can't describe it in words. You can come close like I'm trying to now. There's no language for what it is. And yet, it is the answer to who am I? And who am I? I've got all those trees. I've got the forest. I leave one heaven to go to another that gets me closer and closer and closer. And it's my terrain of my map. And I get to talk about it every 10 weeks. And I'm grateful that I'm back in the rotation. So I can check in and be grateful. So I'm going to let go of the mic, and I did finish on time, and I've never done that before. And, when I first discovered God, it was through my breath. It was through breathing. It was meditating with the breath and how how this evolution of getting into awareness and, having that encouragement of life, the encouragement of light, and life always extending life, and watching, being the witness of all that, and seeing the wholeness, and but always focusing, one more thing. You think I'm going to finish on time? I just blew it. There's something else I want to read in this Be As You Are book, which also caught my attention. I'm saying, boy, I got a homily here. So the questioner says, if a person is engaged in work, there will be little time left for him to meditate. And then Maharaj comes back and says, setting apart time for meditation is only for the merest spiritual novices. A man who is advancing will begin to enjoy the deeper beatitude, whether he is at work or not. While his hands are in society, he keeps his head cool in solitude. And I said, yeah, I can be in awareness while I'm going through the world. I can be in the I thought and take that all the way to the end and let that new space make itself available. I can do that. The I can't do that. Okay. I can bring it as far as I can, with the highest form of practice. But then that other let go, that stepping back from the forest, because that can, you know, there's something witnessing that too. So I'm going to let go of the mic. I had fun. And I think, Kelly, I have another song. We'll give it a shot. You know, before I turn it over, you know, there was, you know, I want to thank Muji. I listen to Muji a lot. And you know, I plagiarize a lot of Muji, and because he's got the words that I can feel. And, you know, so this, you know, when the mind is calling the person, is calling me to be a person, you know, and this practice of, you know, of detaching through witnessing. It's tough, you know, because the mind has all, you know, has all the history, has all the habits, all the tendencies, all the promises I've made, you know, that I don't speak about, but they're inside. You know, the dreamings, you know, the pain that I don't even know I'm looking for. You know, I still, sometimes I pray for the adversity so I can get the lesson. You know, I'm still in that too a little bit, but you know, the living life from the person is, you know, and projecting, you know, I still, you know, you still need more advice. You know, you still ask and ask and ask, and it's a never ending asking to satisfy the person. You know, but when I'm in the presence, and I'm witnessing, and I'm detached from outcomes. And yeah, sometimes, you know, let's face it, you know, we need the mind to make our worldly decisions and all that. But you know, I can go beyond that. I can sit at a different seat. You know, I'm not arguing with my wife as much, hardly at all. You know, where the argument is, you know, I get the invitation, but you know, I don't want to, you know, I'm not going to go, you know, and it's not just at home. It's out in the road. It's seeing the guy that cut me off in the car. I mean, you know, I remember, I can live in that. A course used to say, just remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember you're the king's kid. You got everything. There's someone out there that feels like they don't. I can live in that space. I can live in that space that, you know, my terrain might be different, but, you know, we all have the same map. So I'm going to let go.
We certainly have about 6 minutes for some open sharing, if somebody would like to share.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Hi, Billy. Hey. I really enjoyed your homily. And it's so interesting because I'm kind of in what's called this sort of zooming out challenge with Helen Hamilton. She's, you know, doing this 30-day zoom out challenge where you're kind of zooming out, kind of what you're talking about, stepping back or looking at the whole. And through doing that, I'm seeing how when I'm zoomed in on something, I mean, you know, we practice, you know, looking at an object and looking at the space around it, you know, the space that kind of allows it to be, and understanding that we are that space, you know, that you could be zooming in on a thought, you know, something that keeps coming up and causing suffering. And we can allow space around that thought as we zoom out, or we can allow space around, you know, anything and everything. And as you start to zoom out and realize that you're that space, the grip kind of loosens on all those other things that seem so important or so intense, you know, in our lives. And so it's becoming sort of almost a way of being, not even a practice, really. It's becoming like just a way of looking at everything. And, you know, even zooming back on this, you know, this seems to be someone, you know, that thinks it's zooming in and out, you know. So it's been very powerful, and I really resonated with what you're saying here. So thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Bev. I mean, before we get to Jay, you know, like I remember when the Course said, give love a chance to be itself, you know, and that was that same thing of give, you know, you are that space, you know, and they're all saying the same stuff. We just got to recognize that it's all saying the same thing. I think it's Jay. Jay? Go ahead.
John, I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm on my speakerphone. I mean, I'm on my phone, so I can't quite see everybody. But Billy, you brought something up earlier as your last addition to what you're saying. I thought it was wonderful because it's talking about bringing this practice, bringing this way of being to every aspect of your life. And right now I'm bringing it to, I'm actually sitting here doing, you know, some work and I something I just started doing recently. And the question has been, can I continue this journey and still have my regular job? Well, the answer is obviously yes, but I retired to not work, basically, but I retired also to spend a little bit more time with this practice. And for the last year and a half, 2 years, that's what I've been doing. And I've been feeling this desire to be back in the world a little bit. And my concern was, can I do that and not lose my practice? And what I'm realizing is I cannot do this. I cannot have this practice without bringing it into every aspect of my life. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, Billy, because it's on my mind. And I realize it's a very simple answer, but the ego just grabs a hold of that and says, no, you can only be one thing or another. You better choose. And I'm going to let you know you chose wrongly, but you better choose. And there is one choice. And that choice is not to lose my focus. Not to believe that's even possible. Not to believe that is mine to lose. So I sit here on a Sunday morning, working on a design, listening to you guys, and starting to learn the holiness of this. At least I hope. Hope they're not just words. They feel like words right now, but they also feel like an awakening and an understanding, a deepening of understanding. So thank you.
Thank you, Jay. I can keep my hands in society and I can keep my head in solitude. Anybody else? Okay. Well, it's 11:30. I was going to have you play my other song.
I think we will go ahead and do that. I think we'll finish off with your song. Thank you, Billy. Thank you, Joe, for reading. We really appreciate that. Thanks.
Been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.